Hello, 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 my darlings. Thank you for joining me on A Slice of Life, A Slice of Life. I mainly speak to 45, 55, 65, and 75 year olds because I want you to stay on this journey called life. And many of you ask me, Georgianne, where do you get your inspiration? And I've said more than once, I wait for the Lord to give me something. And so as I was waiting to come in here today, I saw, I get Scholastic Rhodes Scholar, and I saw this built to last. I was thinking about, wow, Georgianne, I like that subject. I like the title, Built to Last. I thought about it. I said, you know what? I'm 83 years old. And how do you get the 45s and the 55 year olds? The 65s, I think you pretty much got it. And 75, you know how to get on over into the 80s. But the 45s and the 55 year olds, they got so much life to live. How are they going to do this? How are they going to fix life or or live a life where they're built to last? Of course, as a Christian, I would say you get a Christian foundation, you get God on your side, you go somewhere and get in somebody's church, or you go somewhere and get in somebody's Bible. Well, I would give that first. But when you built to last, it's something about stamina. You heard me say more than one time. I've said it more than one time to all of you that it takes stamina to be an adult. And I think that is part of what I think this is talking about, being built to last. Some of these buildings and the pyramids and a lot of European architecture has been around for centuries. And so that they were around for centuries because one, the foundation was a solid foundation. You can't build something up if you don't have something to stand on, something that's going to be there, something anchored. And so you have to anchor yourself. 45 year olds and 55 year olds, the 65 and 75 year olds, they know the anchors. They pull their anchors and they dropped it somewhere else by this point. But you may not have dropped your anchor yet, but you have to drop that anchor. You drop it in the word or drop it somewhere where you know it's going to be safe. And I know that we have dropped our anchor in relationships. I understand that. I've had enough of them to know that dropping your anchor in a relationship is not always working. Not doesn't always work. That's life. We make mistakes. We think we want this, or we think we saw that, or we think it's all about that, and it's nothing, because it was nothing like that. And then you blame yourself for having gotten into it. The best thing you can do is get out of it. Get out fast if you're 45, because you got a lot of years to live. And I don't want you living anywhere miserable, because we're still talking about what it takes to be built to last. And you got to have that foundation, has to be solid. If you didn't get it as a kid, you can still give it to yourself now. You can stop and say, you know what? My parents, I didn't ask for them. I didn't ask for my parents. That's who I got. And so let me correct it myself at this point in my life. I can't blame them. I'm not going to go and spend the rest of my life blaming what had happened was when I was a kid. See, that doesn't help you. That doesn't help you with this. Built for last. So when you built for last, you said, let me anchor. It's an anchor somewhere. You have to get an anchor somewhere. On a ship there's an anchor. That anchor is huge. And when you drop that anchor, it grabs onto something. You see it's got those prongs on there. It's because it needs to grab. It needs to get down solid. It needs to get into something. It has to anchor itself. And how are you anchored right now? If you're gonna build yourself for last, how are you anchored? When I do these things, I have to take my own notes. So I'm gonna. How are you anchored? How are you anchored? And what is your anchor? That's a good one. What is your anchor, and how are you anchored? You know, you got to have a foundation, and you got to have something to hold on to. And so when you built for last, so you look at these buildings, these buildings that they're showing for this particular Rhodes Scholar, it's that these buildings been there for centuries. I mean, wind and rain and storm, and they still standing. And you think about the wind and the rain and the storms of life. Wind, rain, and storms of life um, have been blowing on these buildings, and so it's so anchored and so powerful that whatever layer, it's just layers have layers have been blown off, but the layers are so deep that it's hard to get to the core. You know, when you cut, you get a little surface cut, but when you see the bone, that's a real cut. So there are layers of protection, layers of protection in the building. There are layers of protection in the building. So there are layers of protection in the building, and it's layers of protection. So what's protecting you? Well, we have the angels. You see, I call upon my angels. I have people call upon their angels, you know, but you got to, somebody told me they get up every morning and put on their armor. I don't know who was that told me that. They said, I get up every morning and put on my armor from head to toe. And you know, when and a kid, if you were in church and they would say, put on the whole armor of God, and you sing the song about the whole armor of God, you got to be 45. By the time you're 45, you understand that whole armor of God. If you don't understand it at 45, baby, I don't know if I'm talking to you. I'm talking to the 45-year-old and the 55-year-old that's realizing and recognizing what it takes to build, to be built to last. I'm talking to that 45 and that 55-year-old that's watching me and listening to me, who got to come over here with me at 83. 83, I'm over here on the 83 side. I won't be here when you get 83, but I need for you to remember 83. And I need you to remember how I got to 83. And somehow I got to 83. First, let's give it a God thing first, okay? All right? And then secondly, I was built to last. I was built to last. That foundation, because my grandmama's words would come up when something would happen. My grandmama's words would come to me. My fat grandmama, my regular grandmama, and then my granddaddy's words, because I sat on his knee as a kid. When you sit on a grandpapa's knee, anybody remember sitting on grandpa's knee? See, grandpa would put that Bible in front of you. You can barely say goo goo gaga gaga goo goo. He'll put that Bible on you early. You go to school, talk about some Dick and Jane, and you've been home talking about Hezekiah. Okay? That's what I'm talking about. That's that grandpapa. That was William. Both of them had the name. William must have been a popular name. Maybe I love William, because both grandfathers and my daddy, all three of them were named William. I love William. I love the name William. Anyway, and so I'm just saying all that to say that you get built to last. If you didn't get it as sitting on somebody's knee, then you got it in somebody's church, or you were on your knees. It was a knee somewhere in life. By the time you 45 or 55, it's a knee somewhere in your life. It's been a knee in your back. If somebody put a knee in your back and made it rough for you, or it's a knee has showed up. A knee shows up. Some kind of knee is going to show up. A knee, a Knee is going to show up in somewhere as we are built, as you are built to last. I need you to stay with me on this built to last. See, somebody put a knee in your back, they down on you. They hard on you. It's rough for you. And 45, you had somebody put a knee in your back. 55, y'all had some knees in your back by the time you 45. 55, you 20, 22, you out, yeah, in the club. And 45, you kind of in the club, but you kind of like, I don't know. 55, you like, well, you either making a comeback and to hurry up and get out the club that you got in, because that ain't where it's at. It's all right to go out with the girls sometimes, but that's not where you're looking for somebody in the club. That's not where you're looking for. So let's talk about that knee, or you've gotten on your knees somewhere along the way. You've gotten on your knees. A knee is somewhere between 45 and 55, because 65 and 75, they can tell you something. 65 and 75 can talk about a knee jerk. They can talk about some knees. They can talk about, I didn't want to get down on my knee. They can talk about going to the altar at the church. They can talk about going to the altar in the house. They can talk about going to the altar on their knees and their mind because life then sent them some curves. Because, baby, if you not built to last, you will crumble with the first wind. You see, there was a little, when we were kids, there was a little story about the three little three little piglets, and building something, and they blow the house down, and one piglet's house didn't blow down, and that's the same thing with the piglet story. Might have been a derivative for kids of the Bible story. Build your house on solid rock. On solid rock I stand. You see, you got to be built to last for this economy, for this life, for what's going on up in them places called DC. All these sign of bills and all these shenanigans going on. But the government, you got to be built. This what you got to be built to last. And that foundation has to be there. You got to know something. You have to open a book. See, this, so many African Americans went to school because they told us that we were dumb. They told us that we didn't speak well. They said that we were not educated. And we didn't know that what they meant was that we came educated. We came with knowledge. We came speaking 5 languages, but they didn't know what we were talking about because they didn't know anything about our stuff. And instead of them saying, oh, they smart in their own world, they said, oh, they dumb because they don't know our world. Y'all see what I'm talking about? Somebody come with me. Somebody put an amen down in there. See, somebody point to you and say, you dumb because you're not following my rules. And you like, boo, let's turn that around. I'm not, you don't know mine. You don't know what I know. It's built to last. Foundation. Knees. See these buildings here. See, the wind has blown. How many layers? How many layers do you have left? How many layers have you applied? You know, I got on my good powder today. Do I look any better, y'all? I look better than me. I got on my good MAC powder today. I do. I just wiped it on. I watched my face change. I said, ooh, girl, look at you. It just did something to me to put it. I mean, I may look the same to you all, but to me, it did something to I put on that layer, and I put some more over here. And I got the brush. My little Gigi wasn't paying me any mind because I didn't want her to know I was in there fooling around with the brush. I got some more, and I went here. I got some more. Oh, I just had a good time layering up. Well, baby, when you built for last, you got to layer up. Oh, yeah. You got to, let me write that. You know, I do some good stuff when I just talk off the top of my head. You got to layer up. Did you layer up? I mean, because somebody will come and peel. Baby, life is meant to peel. Life is meant to peel, to take you down by layers. Life is set up like that. And you got to have enough layers that when you get to 83, and I don't know how many more layers I got left because I done had some A-kicking layers. I ain't gonna say the word, but baby, I've had I've been, talking about divine. Is that the word? When you do a shrimp? Baby, I can tell you some stories about this life. 83. My 45-year-olds, my 55-year-olds. I need you to get yourself together because to get over here with me, to get over here with the 75-year-olds, find a 75-year-old and see how solid they are. On solid rock I stand. I'm telling you about the 75-year-olds. And a 65-year-old too. A 65-year-old, by the time you get to be 65 and retired, you know a few things. You know something. And 75-year-olds and 65, we all know something. But baby, 83, we got something for you over here. By this time, you built to last. You done had some stuff. I have some noise going on. I guess I got people happy with me. I got some happy people with me. But you had some stuff. Some people agreeing with me. Built to last. Built to last. That is what you got to be. And how do you get that? How do you do that 45? 45, you need to start now. You talking about getting over here with me? You talking about getting over here at 83? You got a long ways to go, baby, and I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you because that's why I do this show. I do this show because I want my 45, 55, 65, and 75 to be and join and enjoy the journey called life. And I want you to build yourself to last. Don't take all that little lightweight stuff. Forget all that. Deep dive, deep dive, deep dive into your purpose. Deep dive into what God has set up for you. Deep dive into education. Deep dive, don't surface stuff. Deep dive into relationships. Deep dive into your money. Okay? Because they got something for you even with that. Do you see the lady, Uncle Nearest? She just got to be a Delta. She is an honorary Delta. She just making her way. And she got $100 million suit against her. Just blasted her like she don't pay her bills. You know what I'm saying, people? Do you understand what I am saying about how it's set up for us it's set up for our demise? Whatever it is, our demise is the end result. But baby, we got something more than that. But the end result for you has nothing to do with how we see ourselves. Because we know we are what? Built to last. We are built to last. And if you don't know that, you need to get started. Some of that foolishness you can leave alone by now, 45. 55, you can leave some of that, put that aside. Because ask a 65-year-old, get with the 65-year-olds and the 75-year-olds and ask them how they got this far. Because I'm already telling you on a slice of life about 83. But talk to your 55, 45, talk to your 55-year-olds. 55, talk to your 65-year-old. 65 and 75-year-old, you come together and help them 45-year-olds. Because we all been in our 40s. Ooh, baby, did we have fun in our 40s? We have fun in every age. But by the time you're 40, you really thought you knew something. You really had it going on. I was just absolutely gorgeous. I must say so myself. But it was not an easy life. It was not an easy life. 50. And then I got cancer at 60 and had something ever since then. So listen to me. I love you. You know that. When I do this, when I come to you like this, I come to you, I get the word first. And he told me to tell you today to work on being built to last. I love you. And you can't do anything about it.